Hey everybody, thanks for tuning back in to another writing lesson. Last time we had started reading this book, A Pack of Wolves and Other Canine Groups. We're going to read another section from it today, and then we're going to discuss some writing that's coming up, and then there's two parts to your independent writing today. So first, let's get a little bit more information. What do wolves eat? Wolves are carnivores or meat eaters. They usually get their food by hunting, catching, and killing prey. Working together, they can bring down large grazing animals such as deer, musk, oxen, or moose. They will also hunt smaller prey such as rabbits, mice, and fish. Dead meat. If they cannot find fresh food, wolves will eat carrion. This means the bodies of animals that are already dead and starting to rot. That might sound disgusting, but lots of wild animals do this. It is a way to use up foods that would otherwise be wasted. Wolves also create carrion for other species. When they have finished eating, then other animals such as bears and vultures come and eat from the leftover scraps of meat and bone. Carrion-eating birds called ravens have even been seen hanging around animals that wolves like to prey on. The ravens call loudly, and the wolves follow them to find the prey. Then, once the wolves have fed, the ravens get their reward. Meat-free meals. Wolves prefer meat, but if they are hungry, they will eat berries, plant buds, or other animals' eggs. If they live near human homes, they sometimes search through garbage cans. Human interaction. It says throughout history, farmers have hated wolves because they steal their animals. To protect their animals, farmers have often killed wolves by shooting or poisoning them. This is partly why some types of wolves are now endangered. Goodness. A large deer makes a fresh meal for this hungry wolf pack. They're definitely on the lookout. Meals on the move. Wolves like to hunt grass-eating animals such as wild sheep and reindeer, which tend to wander around a lot. So the wolves have to follow them, and they can travel up to 60 miles in one day. It says Eurasian gray wolf pack makes its way across the snow in Russia. Did you know for long distance travel, wolves trot at 5 to 6 miles per hour, but to catch prey, they can run at a top speed of about 37 miles per hour. Wow, that's incredibly fast to run. Wolves and the food web. Wolves play an important part in the ecosystem, which is their habitat and the creatures that live in it. By eating plant eaters, they control their numbers. This allows plants to grow more and provide a home for insects and birds. Many animals also depend on leftovers from wolf kills. However, wolves do not usually get eaten themselves because they are at the top of the food chain. Their main enemies are humans who want to get rid of them to protect their farm animals. So this could be a confusing diagram on its own. Luckily, there's this caption that goes with it. In this diagram of a food web in a northern pine forest, arrows point from each living thing to an animal that eats it. Go ahead and study that one for just a minute. That's pretty interesting. Okay, finding prey. Wolves track down their prey using smell and sight. Once they find something tasty, such as a herd of deer, they will follow the herd to tire the animals out. They might also charge at them, making them scatter to find out which animals are weak or injured. These make the best targets, as they are easier to catch. Did you know? Working together, a wolf pack can catch and kill an animal such as an elk or musk ox. These animals might be 10 times bigger and heavier than a single wolf. Closing in. Next, the wolf pack splits up to surround one animal. They force it away from the herd and close in. A large deer or moose might try to defend itself with its hooves or antlers, but it may run into a river to escape. But if they can, the wolves will corner and trap their prey and then pounce. They bite and pull at the animal's neck or tail end, dragging it down. As they hunt, wolves stay downwind of their prey as much as possible. This means the wind is blowing toward them and their scent does not blow toward the prey. That way, they get more of a chance to sneak up on it without being noticed. Habitat and danger. The Ethiopian wolf, a rare wolf species, eats mainly mice and rats. But these prey animals are disappearing as wild land is replaced with crops, removing their natural habitat and food plants. As a result, the wolves have no food and also become endangered. 2 Eurasian wolves try to get good bites on a chamois, a type of mountain antelope. Okay, this section is time to eat. Like many predators, when wolves have food, they eat as much as possible in case it is a few days until their next kill. They can last for a week or more without eating if they need to. Did you know? The breeding male and female lead the hunt and pounce on the prey first, as they also get to eat first. When eating an animal, wolves start with the main body organs, such as the heart and liver. They contain important vitamins and other substances that wolves need. Next, they eat the muscles, the part that we normally think of as meat. And then finally, if they are still hungry, they will munch on skin and bone. It says strong teeth and jaws let wolves chew tough meat, skin, and bone. Eating tools. Wolves have big, strong teeth and powerful jaws for tearing and crunching flesh and bones. Their stomachs can stretch to hold up to 22 pounds of meat at once. That's the same as 100 hamburgers. A wolf's stomach also contains a very strong acid, and it breaks down bones and skin and kills germs. If there is any meat left, wolves sometimes hide or bury it until they can come back to finish it off. If the pack has new cubs too small to go hunting, the wolves will also take meat back to the den for the cubs and their mother. This wolf is carrying a small sheep, perhaps to use as food for the cubs in its pack. Human interaction. In the past, when they were more common, wolves attacked humans quite often and sometimes killed and ate them. Today, though, it is very rare. All right, so let's see. I have 3 questions for you. The first is, what is something that you learned today from this book? You can share that with somebody in your house if they're available, or tell your pet or stuffed animal, or just think it to yourself. Now, my second question is, do you have a question about anything that the author hasn't answered and you're still curious about it? If so, you probably should write that down, because that's probably going to need to be a Google search later. unless you can ask somebody at home. They might know too. All right. Now I'm curious about what are some other ways that the author has provided information and facts about wolves and other canine groups. So think about that one for just a second. What are some different ways that the author provided information about wolves and other canine groups in this book? You might want to pause me because I'm going to throw out some answers since we can't discuss it together. I'll show you. Let's go back to just the beginning of this section. I like this section because it starts with this really huge question, and everything that we read after it is related. So what do wolves eat? Even if I just read the subject title headings, I could learn so much. Dead meat, meat-free meals. Okay. Meals on the move. Wolves and the food web. Finding prey. Closing in. Time to eat and eating tools. All of those were under that main idea of what do wolves eat. And the author systematically went through each of those little subtopics within the larger topic. And that's a really nice way to organize information and to read and get all of that information. Okay, so today it's your turn to do something sort of similar. We're kind of going to start on that process. There's going to be 2 parts today because eventually we're going to be writing some books about an animal and we're going to be sharing them. But in order to do that, we need to spend some time researching. Now, I don't want you to get stuck on an animal, even if you've already kind of got one in mind, that's great. But right now we're just going to be finding out information. So writing today has 2 parts. And I wrote them out for you. Let's discuss them. Okay, so the first part, part 1. I want you to spend 15 to 20 minutes browsing nonfiction articles online, unless you already have a nonfiction book about an animal that you would like to write about. Some of you might, some of you might not, and either way is fine. I just want you to have information about the animal that you want. If you already have it, use that book. If you don't, go online. All right, and after you spent 15 to 20 minutes just reading and getting as much facts as you can about that animal, then part 2, and I want you to pick. You can either write 1 or 2 interesting things that you found out about your animal today. You can write 1 or 2 things that you're still curious about. Or you can add new topics that interest you into a writing ideas section of your book. You might want to pause that there as you do both of those steps. Good luck in your writing today. I'm so curious to see eventually your books and what animals you guys have been thinking about and end up writing about. So happy writing. You got this. Don't forget to like and subscribe.